The Lillian
And
McDermott
here we
Show.
go. So today we have Trey Stouffer of Transformation Medical Weight Loss Clinics, and we are going to learn all about supplements. We'll be right here. We're going to learn together. It's time to dance. Okay, Trey, I get to see you dance this time.
Watch this.
Too funny.
There's a reason I don't dance.
Here we go.
Okay. You hear that in the background?
Yeah, the head bop. Yeah, that's the music.
Okay.
Yeah, we can barely hear the music. Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott radio show, the purpose of the show is to provide a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to provide alternative ways, I just said that, to heal, and it's my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening friend, will feel empowered to learn a new truth and embrace the life of your dreams. Now, today, we are going to talk about releasing weight with one of my sponsors, Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic, and you can find a clinic near you. And so I need to ask you, guess what time it is? It's Transformation Medical Weight Loss time. And today we're going to talk about supplements and vitamins, because many of us, our diet does not give us what we need. And Trey and I were talking about this before the show, that many of us think that we're going to get it in our food, when our food sometimes, if we're eating processed foods or foods that are fast or in a box or in a can, they may not have the nutrients that you need. And part of the thing that Transformation focuses on not just releasing weight, but also on being healthy as you release the weight. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am so grateful that Trey Stouffer is here to do just that. He is the CEO of Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic. So welcome back, Trey, to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show.
Good morning. How is everybody?
Everybody's good. It's always so nice to catch up before the show and see what you've been up to. And so share a little bit about your background and what led you to start Transformations or join Transformations.
Why do you do this to me? It's
because I love the story.
One of those things.
Yes.
Well, there's really not that much to it. My mom and aunt started it in '87. I was going to school at Oklahoma State. They drugged me out here for Christmas vacation. Not drug, and at the end of the day, Mom asked me to stay to help her with the tanning salon, and I've been here ever since.
Very good. And we're glad that you have, because you have changed and helped transform many lives. And so you've been around for over 28 years.
Gosh, almost 30.
Gosh.
No, November of '87. So November will be 30 years. And it's quite scary to think that more than half my life has been in this vehicle.
And you just recently experienced firsthand surgery, which caused for you to gain some weight, and using your own formula for success. How was that for you?
That's the second time in my life that I've been heavy. One time I was in 6th grade and I lost the weight, and then I had a growth spurt. And then just recently it was surreal. You get used to life the way it is, and you take things for granted and you don't realize. And I tell you, it was more difficult to back off my normal habits in order to lose the weight. And, all these little snippets of knowledge really helped me understand, hopefully, our client base better and quite frankly, myself better.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're being a little modest when you talk about how you lost the weight when you were in sixth grade, you actually weighed 150 pounds, right? So you're being a little modest here. Let's talk a little bit about that.
I used to roll downstairs because I was too lazy to walk. It was pretty bad. But yeah, I was wearing size 30 jeans, and it just you don't realize it until you put this blanket up that should be your pants, and it was just a shock. So yeah, I lost about 15 or 20 pounds, and before my growth spurt finally did kick in. So I was blessed in a lot of different ways, but yeah, it was an eye-opening experience.
Yeah, 30-30 is not a big, but when you're in sixth grade, perhaps maybe
I was going to say when you're short,
yeah,
sixth grade 30-30 is pretty large.
Yeah. So today, Trey, let's talk about a little bit about your supplements and the importance of the quality and the grade of your supplements as you're helping people release weight.
Do you have enough time?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. I'm just, because I can rail on the crap that's out there today. It's between the Chinese supplements being the raw materials and people just wanting to make money and get the cheapest thing they can put into a product. I mean, if you do not buy a natural product that has a pedigree or a certificate of analysis, quite frankly, or both, you're just wasting your money.
And that is very important. That is important to you.
The most important thing there.
And Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinics, and knowing that any vitamin or supplement that they get through you, first of all, it's low cost, but then it has that pedigree that goes along with it. So today we're going to
low cost, but not cheaply made.
Correct. That's I picked my words well. And we're going to continue our conversations with Trey Stouffer when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay, here we go. No, it's Wiener. It's Wiener. Now it's too loud. You can count on. Now we're going to be playing.
It could be Weinstein or Wiener. Or Wiener's Weinstein. Or is it Weinstein's Wiener?
You're being recorded. You're being recorded. Once again. Here we go. And welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn from one another. Today, we are learning with Trey Stouffer. He is the CEO of Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic. We've got lots of topics. When it comes to Trey, we've got lots of shows that you can go and listen to or watch. Or now, this is the first time that we capture him on video, and he just does not know what to do. Now
it's embarrassing.
You get to see how handsome Trey is and how he lives the life. And so today we are talking about nutraceuticals. So let's first of all, before we start talking about your nutraceuticals at Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic, let's talk about the process, the belief, the thought of the foundation of Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic, because you guys have been helping thousands of people release weight naturally, as well as with a little help from your friend. So share a little bit about the process, Trey.
The process from an intake process or a theoretical process?
Well, you can start with a theory and then go with what actually happens.
Well, anybody in the world can lose weight, but not everybody in the world will do it, or they need help, or. So we want to be that hand up, hand out, helpful hand, and educator, because we quit counting at 140,000 people over 30 years. But
that's awesome.
The cool thing is most business models that we see around the U.S. right now are reoccurring revenues, automatic payments, blah, blah, blah. And that's not a theory that we like. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to charge for somebody to come in and educate them and do everything that they need to do. But when they're through with that education, or they pause it, or they decide to step away, they shouldn't feel like they're going to get charged ongoing. So I know that's kind of a crazy sounding theory, but again, you go back to most models now today, everything's reoccurring, pay. But we want to educate people We want them to lose the weight and, quite frankly, quit using us from a weight loss standpoint. And the idea is you tell 10 of your friends, and, and then that's where we get referrals and word of mouth and everything. And that's really the theoretical side of it. Let me help you help yourself and educate you through the process to where you don't need us.
And so I have mentioned this before, and I've said it on the show with you, is that sometimes we need to go to the gym. Like some people can buy a treadmill and work out of their house. And some people, later on, that treadmill becomes a clothes hanger. But then for me, I can't work out of the house, work out. I like to go to a gym, and I feel the energy there, and that's good enough for me. But then there are people who go to the gym and still don't quite feel that motivation. They might need a personal coach. And so the way I view you guys, Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic, is that you're more of a coach, a personal coach. You're there, a cheerleader, an educator. And so how long does it take for the majority of the people? What is the average weight loss within a short period of time, or the long retention have you seen from your satisfied clients?
There's several roads that I can go down, and I go down a lot. First and foremost, you can't outrun your fork, regardless of anything. I mean, I've seen people go in the gym and they burn 10,000 calories and they run till the cows come home, and then they go and then they eat horribly.
Sabotage.
So, absolutely. So one of the things as a coach, we want to teach people, and usually it's a slight nuance. And believe it or not, the biggest challenge that we have as a society is we don't eat enough and we don't eat consistently, because when you skip a meal, your body thinks you're starving. Of course, when your body thinks you're starving, it saves the fat because it's protecting you. So by eating consistently, even though we're busy, even though we have things to do, 3 squares, 2 snacks. I know we've heard it our whole lives, but there's a reason that we preach and teach that. So it's usually the little nuances that will make the biggest difference. And again, I can't tell you how many clients have come in and said, "Oh, I know what I'm doing." Well, I agree with that. You probably know more than I do about your body, but at the end of the day, something's not working. So let me help you help yourself and tweak those little things. And that's where the coaching and educational side comes in, because most people know, they just don't apply. And then when they finally do get the tweaks and they do apply it, it's amazing what can happen. And you were asking about averages. A comfortable average is 12 pounds a month, and for people that we see on a weekly basis, and 9 to 10 pounds a month for people that we see every 2 weeks. We see better results if people come in and they're more inclined to be accountable.
Okay, so one of the things that I love about Transformations, once you become a member, once you go through the process, there are no startup fees if you decide to, maybe you want to tweak again and come back after years of being gone. Share a little bit about that, Trey.
It's pretty simple. We just don't feel like you should have to pay to restart. Of course, usually we like to see blood work once a year, so that fee is going to be there regardless. And then, of course, your supplements or medical products or whatever you do, there's going to be a charge for that, but you'll never pay a restart fee again. You're once a member, you're always a member.
Let's talk about that blood work, because it is that the blood work that you do to rule out anything before weight loss begins. That's crucial. And I've never heard of anyone else doing that. Share a little bit about the blood work and the cost and what they get for it.
Well, it's a SMAC18 CBC and a cholesterol frac, which to the layman means absolutely nothing, but that's about a $300 blood panel. And we charge $45 for that. And that gives us a good variety of kind of where your body is. And quite frankly, if something's real wonky on the blood work, we send you to your general practitioner or wherever we need to send you. And it's a nice check and balance, if you want to call it. But we A, want you to be healthy first, and then B, with being healthy, weight loss will come.
Okay, so you also have a medical doctor there.
We have a physician at every location.
Yes.
Or we definitely have medical personnel around us.
Very good. And so it's not just going to someone that's going to try to treat everybody the same way. You actually have a doctor that'll look at the blood work and then will make a determination of what the patient needs.
That is correct. Everybody's different, and quite frankly, it's really a custom program for every individual. Even though it may be similar in some aspects, it's always unique because everybody's so unique.
Very good. So one of the things like we've talked about this before, is how proud you are of your nutraceuticals and the pricing of your nutraceuticals. Even when I mention the word nutraceuticals, you smile. And for those of you who are watching this video, you'll get to see the beautiful smile that Trey has on his face, usually when he talks about his nutraceuticals. So now you've got to smile too much. Don't be self-conscious about it. You do it naturally. Okay, so let's talk about some of your nutraceuticals. You talked about a pedigree. Let's talk about that pedigree and why it is important to have a pedigree.
Look, a pedigree is basically a certified organic stamp if you're walking in the grocery store. And fortunately, we've educated ourselves well enough that we know when we walk in there and we go to the grocery store, certified organic's kind of the best you can get, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a certificate of analysis with a pedigree is the best you can get with natural products. It not only tells you every step that it makes from raw material to final product, but if anything does go wrong, and that's why pedigrees are important, then they can backtrack, find out where the problem started, and then find out who it went out to. So it's really a tracking device, front and back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why pharmaceuticals have been using it for years, but nutraceuticals, it's a wild, wild west out there. And to sift through some of the crap, no pun intended, it's amazing. Matter of fact, the first time that we realized how substandard nutraceuticals are is when we had a client that used to clean porta potties, and he informed us that you would be amazed on the pills that would be found at the bottom of porta potties. And what was more amazing than that is you can still read the insignia. So if you can still read what they type on the pill, that tells me it didn't get absorbed.
Yes.
Well, it makes sense if you put so much stuff from A to, I forget whatever. Actually, I know what it is, but I can't say it. But if you've got everything in there and it's compressed so tightly that it doesn't break down, it's useless because you didn't use any of it.
Well, I'm just amazed when you told me the story before, and I'm still amazed that anybody would want to look for the insignia that would that's cleaning porta potties
Yes.
look like for the insignia. But that's a great visual, and it is happening. We think that we trust that because it's on the market, because it's on a shelf, that it's going to be good. But what is it exactly that we're looking for, Trey? Is there like a symbol or anything to know that this has been certified?
No, and that's one of the unfortunate things. Nutraceuticals, and believe me, I'm not a government guy to where I want everything to be monitored to the hilt. Matter of fact, I'm exactly the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
But when it does come to what we put in our body, we should know these things. But no, there's no insignia on it. It's got no organic symbol. But what you can do is whomever you are buying this from, call them up, ask them for a certificate of analysis and a pedigree. And if they can't supply it, that tells me they probably don't have it. Again, it's a sad thing, but we do have them available and we will supply them.
Very good. Okay. So because we know that not everybody is going to eat a certain way, let's say you're educating your patients to eat organic as much as possible, and in the meals that you have recipes, preparation, and all of that. But you also include the nutraceuticals. So is this a show and tell? You're going to show me something? There you go. What is that?
This is red pepper, orange pepper, basically chicken peppermata that I bring for lunch. So I practice what I preach.
Very good. Because
I
now
eat
that
well
you've
and consistent.
very good, very good. So, what are the reoccurring um, supplements that you give patients that you see that there's deficiencies, and what are those?
Oh my gosh. There's deficiencies in almost everything we have nowadays, as you probably know, and we've spoken about.
Mm-hmm.
The multivitamin that we have is a great starter, and for as little as $6 to $10 a month, a 30-day supply of multivitamin. The pycnogenol is a great anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. The carb inhibitor will help prevent carbohydrates from converting into fat. There's so many tools that we utilize. Calcium, chromium helps sweet tooths. So there's a wide variety of things we're adding to our portfolio as we speak. We'll probably be adding a vitamin D, which everybody's deficient in, blah, blah, blah.
Very good. Very good. And we're going to continue talking about the blah, blah, blah and the supplements at Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic when we return worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay, what was that, Trey? You were saying about people losing weight?
Oh, I see the record sign. So a lot of people lose weight, and there's such a variety of such a variety of things that are so impactful. So it's you say, what touches my heart? Success. You can just see the metamorphosis of going from insecure, and as they lose weight, they just blossom out. So I see that on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
That's the great stuff. Some of the most memorable clients weren't always successful, quite frankly. I remember one lady that she came in, and this was probably in the mid 90s, but she came in, she lost a lot of weight apparently before us.
Mm-hmm.
Someone hit on her and she felt very uncomfortable. She gained the weight back, and she was coming to us because she was getting ready to get married. And I just that impacted me for some reason, and it was more mental than it was physical.
There is a statistic, they've done studies that 80% of men and women that are morbidly obese have been inappropriately touched in their lifetime. And it doesn't surprise me that here's this woman that was protecting herself with the layers and would release her weight and would bring it, the memory would be triggered back on. When the body is not ready, when the mind is not ready to heal, you and I have had many conversations about this. It's a mind, body, spirit connection with people that are coming in there. People that are dealing with weight issues, weight control, whether it's anorexia or bulimia, or they're addicted to food in some way, shape, or form, that there's some trauma that is deep, deep within that the brain will not embrace. And the body is saying, look at me, pay attention. There's something going on. And it's not aligned with the brain and the body are not aligned. So I can see how that made an impact. Do you still see who was your first client do you have any clients that have been lingering and they last for a long time? And
for years. It's funny because I'll see people out in the grocery store that I haven't seen in 5, 10, 15 years. They'll come back in, but being in the Lake Mary area forever, it just you run into them all the time.
Yeah. Okay, Trey, so here we go. I'm going to talk about my social media. I'll bring you back in, and we're going to continue our conversation with your nutraceuticals when we get started. Okay?
I'll be here.
I know you're waiting for me.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where you can hear us worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. I am your host, Lillian McDermott, and it is my goal that we learn from each other. And today's teacher is the CEO of Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic, Trey Stouffer. And today we're not only talking about how to take your health back by releasing the weight that you want, but what kind of supplements will help you through this process and support you. And so, yesterday I got the nicest call. There was this woman that her name is Marcel, and she told me about a listener that she's a hospice nurse, and her name is Renee. And she listens all the time. And I'm just so excited. I hope she's listening to me today, that it's so good that when we learn together. And that's what she had said to this woman, is that she listens to the show and she learns something every day that she listens to the show. And that's our goal, is that we listen to one another, learn from the teachers that are on the show. And the way we continue the conversation, and I ask you, if you haven't done this already, I ask that you do this, that you go to whenyouneedafriend.com and become a subscriber. This is where we have this responsibility conversation. Once your body and your mind and your heart align, what will you do? And so we have a team, we have support here. So go to whenyouneedafriend.com and you'll receive some tools to get you on your journey, which is the 90-day challenge to self-love ebook and my Mind, Body, Spirit positive affirmation audio link, because it really does start in the thought. So we want to produce healthier thoughts. So I just want to encourage you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com. Trey Stouffer of Transformation is one of my sponsors, and I always ask you to go to my sponsors page and check out these wonderful, generous sponsors who have made this show what it is today because of their support. So figure out a way that you can support them. So Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinics, you can find them by going to 87 Start Now, or you can go to transformationsweightloss.com, and there's a location near you. And so you can go, if you live in Orlando, Oviedo, Lake Mary, Claremont, Kissimmee, Tampa, Melbourne, Mount Dora, and I am hoping that soon we can say Jacksonville to that. But for now, if you want to learn about a location, you can go to transformationsweightloss.com, or remember, they started in 87, 87 Start Now. And the number is 877-827-8669. Check out a location for you that you can receive this kind of support. Go to whenyouneedafriend.com, click on the icon there, and it will take you to Transformations. Also, when you're in whenyouneedafriend.com, make sure you click on my social media and you like me there. And on podcasts, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. Did I say iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, and iTunes? And now on YouTube, you can watch this video. You can call, leave a message at 407-373-5959. And so today we are talking to the CEO of Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinic, Trey Stouffer. And, Trey, I am just so grateful every time, and I really enjoy through all this time that you've been sponsoring the Lillian McDermott Radio Show. It's always nice to come together as friends before the show and kind of share. And you guys have been going through a lot since the storm. Irma has created quite a dent in your group, but you're still going strong. You believe in this so much. Nothing is stopping you.
Do we have a choice? We have to.
Yeah. You know what? That's a great attitude.
Mm-hmm.
We get to. We get to.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is the hardest job you'll ever love. But I love what I do because we see the results, and it's so rewarding. So I'm happy to go through the trials and tribulations, even with our corporate office being 75% flooded. So,
Yeah, that's unbelievable. You sent me some videos about that, and I'm glad that you're still able to see your patients because, we rely on that support. We are all connected. That's why I love what you're doing at Transformations, because you're bringing people in as a family and bringing the support that we need. It's not you're on your own. Here are your boxed meals. No, you teach people how to shop, you teach people how to eat, and this is the kind of education we should all have in school, when you're learning how to eat. So let's talk about some of the things that you have, like you have metabolic enhancers. Tell us about metabolic enhancers and why those are so important.
well, look, they help increase your metabolic rate slightly because of thermogenics, and it'll increase your body temperature slightly, which will help burn calories. It will help with appetite suppression to some degree. In a lot of cases, it will fill deficiencies on minerals and supplements that you may have. And the body is very similar to an engine, about 10 times, 100 times, a million times more resilient.
Mm-hmm.
But you would never throw sand into your automotive engine and think that it would run, but yet we throw crap in our bodies all the time and expect it to do well. So really, the supplements that we provide, and quite frankly people buy, is it helps fulfill the voids in our bodies that we need, because the nutrients, it's not in our food much anymore. It's just not.
We have to eat. We have to eat. If we want the nutrients in our food, we have to be purposeful in our
Yes,
eating.
very.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, anything boxed, I can almost guarantee you is not live enzymes. And live enzymes is what kind of keeps us going. And, so again, it goes back to, you would never throw sand in the engine, but yet we're okay with polluting our body with what we eat on a daily basis. So the metabolic enhancer and the metabolic enhancer free are two different products doing the same thing. One's an herb, one's a spice. We also have a natural appetite suppressant. It focuses more on the suppression of the appetite, but it kind of does the same thing. So, those three particular things do well in assisting through the process. And the unique thing that is so interesting that I've learned over the years is, even though you may go from, and I'm going to use a phentermine 30 milligram,
Mm-hmm.
they have about 7 or 8 different types of 30 milligram, or they have over the years. And someone will say, oh, this is too weak for me. But what we do is we move them sideways to a different manufacturer maybe, and
Mm-hmm.
the filler is what causes the effect in some cases. So it's
Got it.
not that necessarily you need a stronger medication, because we want to use the weakest thing that works, not the strongest thing out there. Because if you use the strongest thing that you can get your hands on, then you have no upward mobility to prevent the appetite suppression if you use a pharmaceutical. So there's a lot of nuances, and my point to that whole rambling conversation
No, it's
is,
very interesting because we need to know many people think, oh, I'm going to suppress my appetite, but then what? What do you do when you do eat?
right, right. But it's interesting because, like, the herb might be more successful for you, or the spice might be more. So different products will react differently chemically in each person's body. So what works for Lily, quite frankly, might not work for Trey. So it's just one of those things where sometimes they work wonderful, sometimes they don't. And just know that you've got to find what works for you the best and what fills your voids, because everybody's different that way.
So Trey, okay, because I'm always looking at the other side of things. And you just mentioned that some people take these like big old milligrams, lots of appetite suppressant. They need something strong so that they starve themselves. That's not what you're looking for, right?
Oh, totally the
The
opposite.
opposite. So
Yeah.
at what point do we wean ourselves from this metabolic enhancers or appetite suppressants so that we can start listening to our own body? How does that work at Transformations?
Well, everybody's different. There's really no true game plan for that. When you get healthy, your body will start shedding the weight. When you start shedding the weight and you're where you want to be, that's a good time to start backing off from things. Now, if it's something that's giving you minerals and supplements, then maybe not back off. But one of the things that I tell people that they look at me like I'm crazy again, I tell them, when you wake up in the morning and you're famished, that tells me that your metabolic rate is at a very good place because your body's burning through the energy. So when you wake up in the morning and you're hungry, that's a good thing. That tells me your metabolic rate is moving, your metabolism is strong. But when you wake up and you aren't hungry, you know, I get concerned that maybe you're skipping meals or it's a small indicator, and it's by no stretch, you know, the end all say all, but it's a good indicator to kind of pay attention.
Interesting. I had never heard that before. We're going to have to talk about that during the break on our little recording that we're doing. So
Fair
we're
enough.
going to continue our conversation because, you know, everybody is different. Many of us have issues with our weight, and but ultimately, it's not the weight. It's not about shaming. It's about being healthy. If you were to strip everything and peel the layers of the onion, it's about health. If you are the way you are and you feel healthy, then great. But if you know you need to change, then it's time to do something. 8-7, start now. And we're going to continue our conversation with Trey Stouffer when we return worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. I'm so glad that he pads me on this, because Brian pads me. I know, like, I'm getting that 1 second mark and he's like, I'm like, okay, I think I got 10 seconds left, but I'm so grateful that he's figured me out that I need every second to get. Okay. So that was the question I wanted to know. Now with Dr. Joel Fuhrman, he says that you want to be in that catabolic state for as long as you can. That when you wake up, you know, the longer you fast, the longer you live. So he's saying that you don't want to eat like several hours before you go to bed, and then when you wake up, you know, that longer that sleep period where your body is digesting. So you're saying that if we wake up hungry, that's a good sign?
Sure.
I'm always hungry,
It,
Trey.
well, but it's okay, but then your metabolic rate's a good place. You know, I mean, think that through. I'm not saying anything about when to eat, but I'm saying eat consistent enough to where your body knows that it's getting fuel and it's not trying to protect itself.
Got
And
it.
that's why you say 3 squares, 2 snacks. So when you wake up and you're hungry, your body's saying, I need fuel.
Got
So,
it.
you know, I'm not debating the whole sleep theory or
No. I
fast
was just
theory.
wondering how that works,
Yeah.
because I've become aware of Dr. Furman's whole concept of the longer you're in catabolic phase. I mean, like, how long do you encourage people to go between meals? Because, I mean, some people wake up in the middle of the night and they eat. And he's saying, no, you want to stretch your meals out. You know, you want to fast until you break fast in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying it's a good indicator to feel that you need to eat as opposed to ignore and starve your body.
Absolutely,
Got
because
it.
so many people skip breakfast. I mean, how many people do you know that skip breakfast and they'll be like, "Oh, you know, I drink coffee. I love coffee. That's my breakfast." Well,
Yeah, not good.
that doesn't fuel your body. So that's where I'm coming from that. So it's a good indicator. And when people tell me that they aren't hungry in the morning, I quite frankly tell them you need to be, because that just tells me your body's getting the fuel that it needs.
Okay,
Now,
so
I don't encourage them to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and eat.
yeah. There are certain foods that you can eat at night, though, that'll help you last a little longer.
Yeah, but you need to be sleeping. That's
No,
what we know.
not in the middle of the night. I'm talking before you go to bed,
Oh,
like
yeah.
2 or 3 hours before. Do you recommend a protein, or is there anything in particular?
Everybody's so different, but
Yeah.
you know, you gotta find your stride and then go to it.
Now, did you get new packaging for your metabolic enhancer? Because you have like something that looks like a bag, and then you have something that is in a capsule form.
Well, the metabolic enhancer has always been packaged a little differently than the rest of our products.
Okay, because I'm looking at your website at transformationsweightloss.com.
Right?
And oh, do I hear the music starting already?
Intro. Yeah.
Intro. Look at that. He's even cueing me. Thank you, Brian. I really appreciate you. Okay, so let's go to pecnogenol and prebiotic and probiotic. How's that sound?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. And welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn with one another and we grow just as well. So today we are talking with Trey Stouffer, the CEO of Transformations Medical Weight Loss Clinics. They've been a sponsor of the Lillian McDermott Radio Show for a long time. Specifically, love the Melbourne office because I'm based out of Brevard County, but would love for him to go to Jacksonville as well. It is such a wonderful place to find support, to release the weight and get healthy. Live the life that you want. There's other things. It's a mind, body, spirit approach. And I know, Trey, that when somebody goes to your clinics and mentions me, they get a free they get put into a raffle and receive a free consultation so that they can start healing from the inside out as well. So one of the topics that we've talked about before, it's about pre and probiotics. And I've said this to you before. I mean, I eat a lot of raw food, so I feel very comfortable that I'm getting my enzymes, and I just don't quite understand the pre and probiotic. So share a little bit about your pre and probiotic and why it's so different than all the others, other than the pedigree and
Well, I don't know that it is drastically different. I know that we're still learning about the true effects of pre and probiotics. I will tell you the general, and I will tell you what our product has and what's out there.
Okay.
The prebiotic, and one of the physician friends that I have, he positions it like this. If you can imagine that you have 1 million soldiers and you want to get them over the battlefield, a prebiotic is armor to get more of the soldiers over that battlefield. And then once they get to the actual fighting, and in this case, it's through the stomach into the digestive tract, the probiotics then take effect in the digestive tract. The prebiotics get them to that point. Now, that's my understanding of the pre and the pro. Now, again, research is kind of all over the map, but some of the more sufficient research that I've seen is 50 billion cultures a day is kind of where we need to start. And it's really about volume. And it's enzymes that are digestively breaking down the foods so you get more nutrients and a lot of our grocery store foods don't have these probiotics and prebiotics in there and the enzymes that we really need. So it's a healthy enzyme. The other school of thought, and I don't know that we've actually walked through this, is our world is getting so sterile that we are having challenges from a health standpoint. And that's a whole nother topic. But I believe that to be true. Everything's 99% germ killing, blah, blah, blah. But there's positive germs out there. There's very good germs out there. So that's kind of the general theoretics of probiotics. It will help you with your digestion. It will help you with the absorption of the nutrients that, quite frankly, you need.
Now, how do we know? Because, we see the billion, the trillion, all these numbers that are coming at us with these little soldiers that you're talking about. How do we know they're as effective when we take it as when they're made?
I don't know that we'll ever know that, to be honest with you.
Okay, so
there's basically two schools of thought. There's a refrigerated product.
Okay.
And they claim that they have more whatever. And then there's also the shelf-stable product. And both of them, after they are manufactured at the manufacturer, and there's really only 5 quality manufacturers in the United States right now. And maybe that number's increased since last time I did a lot of research on it. But when you see on the label that it says there's 20 billion cultures at time of manufacturer, that's a great indicator that there won't be 20 billion cultures by the time you get it in your hand. So you got to A, read the label, B, again, ask for the pedigree, C, ask for the certificate of analysis. I know I sound like a broken record and harping on these things. But there is degradation with any product, quite frankly. And I'm nervous about the refrigerated products because do I believe that a refrigeration product has been refrigerated the entire time from manufacturer to your shelf? I'm not always convinced about that. I feel more comfortable with the shelf stable products.
Got it. Got it. And so that's why it's important to look at that pedigree and authenticity, certificate of authenticity as well. So it's another. And with this, I want to talk about chromium. You mentioned chromium before. What's the benefit of chromium and why should we look into that as part of our releasing weight?
Well, one of the biggest things that chromium does for our clients, and quite frankly, a lot of people, is it curbs sweet tooths. I mean, that's one of the biggest thing. And, you know, our society is so readily available to have sugar and this, that, and the other. So I guess really the idea of it is it's filling a void that our brain thinks that it needs sugar. And that's why chromium, fills that gap per se. And it helps a lot of people. And some people say it doesn't do anything. Again, it's such an individualized environment.
Interesting. Okay.
But give it a try. It's a cheap product. And quite frankly, if it helps, then, you know, you can't go wrong.
Very good. You know, I had never heard of chromium helping with sweet tooth. Is there a particular strength that you look for, or do you start with one pill and then increase it depending on?
Again, individualized. I mean, everything is dependent upon. I mean, you have chromium picolinate, chromium picolate. There's different varieties. So see which one works for you. Not an expensive product, but maybe it'll work.
Okay, so last but not least, I want to talk about pycnogenol because when I first met you, you say you take pycnogenol, and just recently I was doing research for Alzheimer's, and it said that pycnogenol was very good for patients with dementia, and also said for people with Parkinson's, pycnogenol is very good for that as well. What is pycnogenol?
Pycnogenol is a maritime pine bark. It is a natural product. In the United States, we recognize, I'm looking up your email as we speak, Lily.
Okay.
So we recognize the cheaper version as grapeseed extract. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, I've heard of grapeseed extract, but I've never heard of pycnogenol. Well, a good grapeseed extract has about a 65% potency. Whereas a good certified pycnogenol has about a 95% potency. The difference in cost is raw material cost in the neighborhood of $3,800 to $4,500 a kilo, and grapeseed extract is about $90 a kilo. So grapeseed extract is used as a filler for pycnogenol, and by law, you have to put 25% pycnogenol into a product to call it pycnogenol, and then you can fill it. Our pycnogenols are 100% maritime pine bark, 100% pycnogenol, certified, blah, blah, blah. I know I could bore everybody to tears with that. So
no, it's important to know. This is important information.
It really is. But pycnogenol is an anti-aging product because of the antioxidants. It helps with skin elasticity for the gentlemen and ladies that are interested in that. But most importantly, it's an anti-inflammatory. And every disease that we have is basically an inflammation-based product. And the disease is a byproduct of that inflammation. So the less inflammation that we can retain in our body, the healthier we are. And for me, I use pycnogenol on a daily basis. I use 6 pills a day like it's clockwork.
Very good.
And that's part of my regimen. But yes, I've seen massive results from little products like this.
Well, I tell you, when I learned about that, because I remember the first thing, you gave me a bottle of pycnogenol the first time I met you. And I thought this was so, I texted you the moment I learned about it, because when I think of pycnogenol, I think of you. So it's a little tip that I learned during the the dementia, Alzheimer's show that we did. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad that you have it there. Trey, thank you so much for always being so informative during the show. And I look forward to our next conversation.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you, Lily.
And to you, my listening friend, 87 now, start now, 87 start now. That means they started in 87 and so should you now. So 87 start now. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Mwah. We'll see you. Okay, so we're going to continue our conversation off the air. Trey, when I learned about pycnogenol, I was just blown away. And I'm sure that as you have this product and you're thinking it's anti-inflammatory, that makes sense because people that have memory issues, there's inflammation in the brain, there's inflammation in the body. So I can see how the association. So thank you for making me aware of pycnogenol.
Now, listen, you would have got there eventually. Now, does pycnogenol break the blood-brain barrier? I think it does. I think that's one of the benefits to that.
Yeah. You were looking at the email I sent you about that? Is that what you were doing?
I am.
Yeah. I'm going to send you a PDF. Anyway, let me just stop the recording. I just want to thank you, my listening friends and my viewing friends, for spending the time with Trey and I today. And I look forward to us growing together soon. Say bye-bye, Trey.
Bye. Thank you.